Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 4 of the British Drift Championship here from Three Sisters Circuit in Wigan. We are almost ready to kick off action here with our pro top 24. Eddie, we just whittled down 35 guys down to 24 drivers, and what a qualifying session it was.
Yeah, look, it was really intense, and it is quite cutthroat, those guys having to go home a little bit early. 2 runs to get it done, and if you can't perform, that is it, unfortunately. And we have the top 24 drivers remaining. I'm just looking ahead to the top 24 battles, Ian, and you know, usually you can kind of pick a few winners. You say, oh yeah, he's going to win that battle. They are all just so evenly matched that I'm not sure who's going to make up our top 16.
No, our top 16 is going to be, you know, very tight. And listen, look at the guys already in the top 16. Some of our first place qualifier, Oliver Evans. I mean, look at that, coming out of nowhere. The car finally working for him this season. And listen, we only mentioned earlier on that he hasn't really made a statement this season. And there you go, he knocks it out of the park and puts in a first place qualifying run. Dave McKeever not having the best weekend so far. Car issues along with Kevin McQuinn. But listen, they've got a good team. They've got the cars fixed and they put in some runs, and McKeever sits patiently waiting for Martin Richards in the same half of the bracket. So interesting stories to unfold this weekend. But Eddie, no point talking about it. Let's get the action underway. Let's get down to the start line for the first battle of the day. Our top 24 drivers are ready to rock and roll. It will be Ashley Stevens to take on Scott Cartledge for a spot in the top 16. So listen, if this is the first time for you tuning in or your first time here witnessing drifting at Three Sisters Racing Circuit, this is how it's going to work. We're going to battle top 24 drivers. They're going to go into the top 16. We're going to bring them down in front of you. We're going to introduce all our drivers, and then them top 16 are going to go head to head, Eddie, all the way to the podium. But first up, like I say, Ashley Stevens to take on Scott Cartledge.
Yeah, and I suppose the way it works, you know, qualifying one car out on track at a time in top 24, and in battles it's a different story. Higher qualifier leads the and his objective is to try and run the qualifying line and put in that perfect 100 score. Chase driver, they need to mirror exactly what the lead driver is doing and try and get as close as possible without making contact. So here we go. We'll talk you through it as it goes. Ashley Stephenson, the higher qualifier, leaves the line with Scott Cartledge giving chase. A spot in the top 16 against Oliver Evans, the highest qualifier, awaits the winner. And right now, Ashley Stevens doing a nice job out in that lead position, but Scott Cartledge right there applying the pressure in the chase position, tucking in and getting all up in his business. And as they take it across the line, the first run is in the books in the top 24 battles, and quite an evenly matched pair, Ian, and it just goes to show that's exactly why when I was looking down at these battles I couldn't pick a winner from some of these upcoming runs that we had ahead of us.
No, exactly. A very, very good battle there. Cartledge looked like he was going to make a massive error on initiation, but held it together. Threw it on a nice angle. Stevens didn't really do a whole lot wrong in that lead position. Kept to the qualifying line. Nice dive here from Cartledge. Again, throws it on big angle. Stands on the accelerator though, gets good proximity. Stevens shallow on clipping point 6 there, as you can see, and makes it out to 7. This is where Cartledge also almost gets shut though, the door. Stevens cutting across the circuit, shut the door a little bit for Cartledge. So see how it goes when we swap them around. Obviously now the chase car will become the lead car and the lead car become the chase car, and same rules apply. It is your opportunity as the chase driver to get nice and close to that lead car and with as much proximity as possible. Ashley Stevens making his return to competitive drifting in the UK, and Scott Cartledge, your 2017 Prime champion, going to be looking to make his name in this pro class.
Yeah, they get the go from our marshal and they leave the line, and of course drifting is all about that chase driver and what they can do. That's where you gain the points, but it's also where you can lose them. And right now Ashley Stevens falling back a little bit, not able to keep pace with Scott Cartledge in that incredibly well presented and well built PS13, and he puts foot to the floor on a very good line. Stevens making a couple of errors, washing wide, dropping a couple of wheels, and no real answer for Scott Cartledge. And for me, Ian, Scott Cartledge taking a big advantage over that second run, and the second run I'd imagine being the decider over the 2. I would expect to see the judges all voting in favour of Scott Cartledge here, but of course we have been wrong in the past.
Yeah, we certainly have, and yeah, like you say, listen, Scott Cartledge doing a very good job in that lead position. Did he make any errors, or did he cut the circuit? Well, we're about to find out who's going to take it through to the top 16. Side of left for Scott Cartledge and right for Ashley Stevens. Kieran Hines says Scott Cartledge, David Egan says Scott Cartledge, and Ryan makes it unanimous. Scott Cartledge gets the win and goes through. Judges, we send it back to you for a quick analysis on that one. Pretty simple battle.
Forward enough for us. Take this one. First one, Ashley, yeah, you put in a really good lead run, and as we always say, you can't have a good chase without a good lead. So Ashley gave Scott every opportunity, and he took it. He was on his door all the way, and I suppose the only error we saw from him was he had a bit of a straightness coming over the finish line. So he came away with only a small advantage after the first one, taking into account that little straighten and taking into account Ashley's good lead. But when we swap it around, Ashley never really got proximity, and he made a big error down at the S's where he missed clip 5, and he did the dive in there, try and get proximity, which is a big mistake to make because you'll lose all that ground coming back out on the long pull, which he did. And I think by the finish line you saw there was a huge gap, so Scott took a big advantage of the second one.
There we go, Scott Cartledge getting the win and moving through to the top 16. We keep it going though. Mike Walton up next to face off against Ollie Elmore. Mike Walton in that immaculately prepared Walton Motorsport S13.
Yeah, narrowly just missing out on a spot into the, a direct spot into the top 16. So he's got to battle his way now up against Ollie Elmore down the order, just scraping through in 24th position. So this one on paper should be quite an easy battle for Mike Walton, but a lot of drivers don't perform great in qualifying, and it's in the battles where they come alive. But a big straighten you see from Ollie Elmore in as he looks now to make the dive and formulate an attack. But again, a couple of errors just creeping into the run here for him. No such problems for Mike Walton though in the Walton Motorsport Cosmos Racing wheels 180SX, looking very, very comfortable on the circuit now, and I think Ollie Elmore with a real task in his hands to try and pull this one back.
Mike Walton doing a very, very good job there in that lead position, and yeah, for me, listen, a big straighten. Again, we see it yesterday happen a few times. As you can see on initiation, Walton, big clutch kick, fires the car, and a little dab with the handbrake. Ollie Elmore doesn't really take full advantage of that initiation, doesn't get on the door, and here is where it all goes wrong for him. Big straighten there as he dives and shortcuts the circuit, and again, handbrake drag as he fires that car in. A wobble there as he tries to set the car up coming into Luna Bend. By this point, Mike Walton's putting in a stellar run and absolutely standing on the accelerator. Puts it to clipping point 6 and 7 and absolutely drives away with the battle. For me, yesterday, for what we see in top 32 battles in our Pro-Am class, big straightens like that, Eddie, got yourself knocked out of battle, out of competition straight away. So
yeah,
Ollie Elmore really needs to pull his socks up a little bit here and try and put in the lead run of his life.
That's it, he's taking his time just to get a little bit of composure and brings himself to the line, but Mike Walton awaits there, and he'll certainly be feeling as though he has one foot in the top 16. Mike Marshall awaits the winner of this one. And now for Walton, he's got to try and maybe just hold back and be a little bit patient here, not strike too early on, make sure he gets through this section. Of course, Elmore making those errors in front, slowing quite a bit, and this is what can catch out the chase driver. Walton quick to realise what's going on here, and
listen,
but look at this.
I was just going to say, look, from initiation, Ollie Elmore didn't look settled. He sent the car in and dropped wheels off circuit straight away. It didn't really give Mike Walton the opportunity to initiate. Mike Walton then starts to make an attack on the door. But Ollie Elmore's very, very scrappy, not carrying as much speed. Walton fires it into clipping point 3 and completely gets the car out of shape, gets rear wheels on the dirt, over-rotates. Not sure what the judges are going to make of this one. Are they going to look for a replay? They certainly do. Look at this, Eddie. Watch this from Ollie Elmore. Fires the car in, nice initiation, but look at that, drops wheels straight away. Now, Mike Walton doesn't really take the hint and hold back. He tries to get into the fight. And look at this, fires the car on the door, and Elmore on the handbrake. And that's nowhere to go.
Yeah, look, and in a slowing section of the circuit, and that's the thing the judges would be looking at. Was it just over-aggression by Walton? Because he should be expecting Elmore to slow in that section of the circuit. So could it be his own demise?
Well, we're about to find out as the judges drop their score in. Who's going to take it through to the top 16 to take on Mike Marshall? Slide him left for Ollie Elmore, right for Mike Walton. Kieran Hines says Ollie Elmore. David Egan says Ollie Elmore, and that is it. Ollie Elmore gets the winner, goes through to the top 16. Eddie, no need to go to the judges on that one. Wheels off track and an over-rotation. We can't be putting you through the competition.
Yeah, I mean, look, we were talking about Mike Walton and how confident he was looking out there, and you think that the drivers would be watching what happened yesterday. He should have really learned from the first corner, and unfortunately that over-aggression costing Mike Walton a spot in the top 16. Ollie Elmore, bonus time for him. We're next up now on the grid, Martin Wantacode to take on Richard Greenrod. Greenrod, of course, in that borrowed car from Tessa Whittock. And these two drivers will face off for an opportunity to come up against Matt Carter in the top 16. Who's going to take it through? Wantacode, the higher qualifier, gets an early jump off the line as Greenrod now tries to form an attack and pull himself back into this one as they make the little transition to the midsection down into the slowing section of the circuit. into Lunar Corner, and this is where Greenrod now tries to put the pressure on. Can he force a mistake from Wantacode in the lead position? Certainly doesn't force an error, but certainly does have good proximity through the latter stages of the circuit, Ian.
Very, very nice chase run there from Richard Greenrod. Listen, for me, for someone to jump into a borrowed car like that, he's gelling with it time and time again. Look at this, nice chase. Gives Wantacode some room for the initiation. Wantacode was looking very, very good in twin battle practice earlier on this morning, and Greenrod gives him the room he needs to get the car settled. Doesn't make a dive too early on. There's plenty of this circuit and plenty of opportunities to get on the door, and this is where Greenrod makes the opportunity. Gets on the door very, very close as they come into clipping point 6, and Greenrod right there as they push through 7 and come across the finish line. Nice chase there from Greenrod, and for me, I'm going to be saying points in Greenrod's bag on that half of the run.
Yeah, and you've got to be looking at it from a point of view of how many mistakes we've seen in the chase position. So to get through the run unscathed, now you're just all he's got to do now is just put in that solid line that he's been practicing all morning, do that perfect qualifying run, and hope that Wantacode just gets a little bit over aggressive. So here we go. They leave the line for the second half of this battle as Wantacode throws it in nice and early, goes straight for the door of Richard Greenrod. Now Greenrod puts the foot down as he tries to pull a little bit of distance. They slow up, getting onto the handbrake for the final time, and now back onto the power. Can Wantacode find the door of Richard Greenrod through the final section of the circuit? A little bit of a waiver from both drivers. Contact as a bumper starts to fall off Wantacode's car, getting up close and personal with Richard Greenrod, and a very, very aggressive attack there just towards the end from Martin Wantacode.
Yeah, Martin Wantacode launched a huge attack on that clipping point 5, but for me there was a little wobble. He jumped up on the curb, the car, he had to correct the steering, then he made contact with the back end of Greenrod's car. Look at this, we're going to go to a replay. You guys in attendance can see it on the big screen. Greenrod doesn't do anything wrong in my eyes, puts in a very, very good lead line. Wantacode sticks to the door as much as he can, but this is where he starts to get a little bit panicked. He knows that this is where Greenrod was on the door, and watch here, look, big wobble, makes some contact after trying to make a dive, and then very straight as he comes through clipping point 7. So judges still deliberating this one. We're waiting to get a decision to see who advances through, and Martin Wantacode throws his arms up in the air and embraces Richard Greenrod in that borrowed R33 Skyline from Tessa Whittock. Yeah,
all these drivers great friends off the circuit, but of course once that visor is shut, it's a different story. It's all about winning, and these guys are very competitive. That's how they keep themselves running in this championship. Judges having a really good conversation about this one. You can see the brain ticking for Kieran Hines. He's really giving it a lot of thought here, and I imagine this one is a very, very close call. This is one that will be definitely going to the judges, Ian. I don't think we'll be saying, trying to say what it is that's going to be the difference maker between these two as they just check over their cars after the contact that they had, and we don't look to be any closer here to getting a decision. So, as you say, Matt Carter qualifying in 4th position awaits the winner of this. We're obviously still wondering whether he will actually get that car to the line after he suffered mechanical problems on his 2nd run in qualifying.
Yeah, we can take a quick look over to the paddock now, and I can see the roof of Matt Carter's car still in the air, so those team frantically working on that. Judges still discussing this one. Maybe they see something that we didn't, the contact, maybe a little bit more in it than what we first thought. Overly aggressive Martin Wantacode might be too much for the judges at that half of the battle. Well, they're all shaking their heads, Eddie, and they look like they might have possibly come to a decision as the scores get inputted into the system. We're going to pop the graphic up on the screen. Who's going to take it through to the top 16 to face off against Matt Carter, or will Matt Carter get that car prepped and ready back for action for top 16? We're about to find out. Slide them a left for Greenrod and right for Martin Wantacode. Kieran Hines, David Egan and Ryan Poffenkerry. And Kieran says Wantacode. David says Wantacode. It's unanimous. Martin Wantacode gets the win and advances through to the top 16. Unfortunately, Richard Greenrod out of competition. Judges, we've got to fire it back to you. And not an easy decision there.
Certainly not, Ian. So let's put it this way. On the first run, Martin actually, for me anyway, takes a 6-4 advantage. Greenrod, he's doing okay, but he's cutting the track an awful lot in the chase position. He's not even really making the ground. Gets a bit of proximity towards the end of the run, so I had an advantage to Martin on the first run. He just has such a good lead run, gave Greenrod every opportunity, and Greenrod messed up a few areas, cut the track a little bit, got good proximity at the end, so that was where that finished. Second run, Wantacode has all the advantage. Up until we get to the contact at the end of the run. Now, how that contact happened, we deem, is that Greenrod drops off the track and he actually has to back out off the throttle to keep the car on the track. He hops on the curb, and Wantacode is trying to get on the door there. He's not expecting a car to slow. It is a full throttle area of the circuit. However, the hit is intense enough that we do mark down Martin big time for how heavy he hit him. So both guys making sort of a mistake there. Brings that run, I think, back to a 5-5, and then the first run takes it from Martin. That's how we called it.
So there we go, Martin Wantacode getting the win and moving through to our top 16. And the next one on the line is an interesting one. Ex-Formula D driver Darren McNamara making his return to competition driving after a little break. He goes up to a current competitor in the championship, Matt Stephenson, but not Matt Stephenson in his usual car. No, he is in a borrowed vehicle from Paul Cunnington, our Pro-Am driver.
And it's that last fact that makes this one a real uphill challenge for Matt Stephenson, because the borrowed car, not what he's accustomed to. He has managed to put in some decent runs here, but certainly not where he wants to be, as he fires the car onto the door of the Group D driver and goes overly aggressive. But Darren McNamara just puts foot to floor and says, you know what, you're going to have to be a lot faster than that if you want to stay with me. We talked about the speed of Darren McNamara throughout the circuit. He's nailing that qualifying run at the moment, and Matt Stephenson just doesn't have an answer for the pace of the Group D PS13. Darren McNamara taking, for me, in a sizable advantage going into the second half of this one.
Darren McNamara looking very, very dominant in that half of the battle. Some very, very good driving from Darren McNamara. Doesn't look like he's been out the scene at all. Look at this nice initiation. Matt Stephenson fires that S14 nice and close on the door, and McNamara stands on the accelerator and says, buddy, you need to pull it out of the bag if you're going to stick with me. And McNamara, like you say, sticks on that qualifying line. Very, very tidy transition as he gets into Luna. Nice dive there from Stephenson, but look at the grip and the pace of McNamara's PS13 as he stands on the accelerator and absolutely drives away from the Slide Motorsport boss and over the line a good 5 car lengths before they finished the run up.
Yeah, I mean, looking for a split second, it was almost as though Matt Stephenson had it in the locker to stay with Darren McNamara, but that completely changed. Now we have the issue here, though, for Darren McNamara. Will he be sensible? Look, we're talking about a veteran of the drifting scene, and he has more lap time and track time than probably any other driver on the grid. He certainly will know the danger of chasing the slower driver in and getting over aggressive too soon. What will he do here against Matt Stephenson? Can Stephenson pull it out of the bag? Will McNamara be a cool head on old shoulders?
Well, they fire it in, and Stephenson struggles to get into it nice and early as McNamara stands on the accelerator. Look at this big dive from McNamara.
Yeah, Stephenson putting on big angle after being quite straight and goes way off circuit. McNamara makes the overtake, and that will basically mean a 10-0 in favour of Darren McNamara and secure a spot for him in the top 16, where he will go up against Kevin Quinn.
As our judges just have a good laugh with Matt Stephenson there as he finishes up his run and cruises back to the finish line. We need to make it official. Who's going to take it through to the top 16? Darren McNamara on the right, Kieran, David and Ryan, it's unanimous. Darren McNamara gets the win and advances through to the top 16. No need to go to our judges for a decision for that one. 4 wheels off circuit will be an automatic 0. I do believe we are ready to get some more action underway.
Yeah, so Darren McNamara getting the job done, and he, as I say, he will go up against Kevin Quinn. We have only 4 spots remaining in the top 16 and 4 battles remaining to decide who those drivers will be. And of course, you don't want to be going home at top 24 stage in. It's all about that top 16. It's all about that parade, and it's all about being part of the main event. Are you guys enjoying the show out there?
They're barely awake, Eddie. Give them time. Give them time. We're getting pumped on top 16 parade.
I'm hearing some kids making a little bit of noise out there. I think, you know what, they're just preparing themselves for what we have to come in the top 16.
We'll get them ready for top 16 parade. That's where it's going to be at. So we're going to go down to my good mate Nathan. Nathan, you're at the burger van.
Yeah, I'm on a little walk around. Hey guys. the battles are underway. Things are exciting. I've just taken a step away from the drivers just for a moment to share with you an interesting message that I got the other day from a young lady. I'm going to read it out to you now, so just give me just one hot second. I'm just going to search for it. Where is she? Okay, I've got her. Excuse me. Okay. It says, this is from Sandra Coulson. Okay, here we go. You're going to like this, guys. Here we go. So, hi there. Hope you're not in a prison cell. I'm coming to the BDC this weekend. Please come say hello. I'll probably be in the baby pen with the mams, the prams, and the wheelchairs. Your interview with us was far too nice. If you ever do another one, take the, and she swore here, she take the PISS out of drivers or something. My daily drivers are a Skyline and an Evo, and I'm learning to drift. I can take whatever you'll throw at me. This lady's over 80 years old. Well, Granny, you want a challenge? I'll take you on. Me and you, we meet anywhere you want. I'll break your hip. Wherever you are, you want to take me on? You called me out. Like it's 2018. The world's just changing place. Time and a place. I'm going to come and find you. I hear you circling around somewhere. Granny, you've made a challenge, and now will be your downfall. I'll let you know when I got some news. I'm going on a granny hunt. Granny, where are you?
Well, there we go. Nathan might need to be watched by the security for the rest of the day.
Yeah, look, I don't know what it is about Nate. He was doing such a good job, and then all of a sudden it's like, have you forgotten that you're at a drift event? Right, I haven't, so let's move on. We got a battle on our hands. Peter Hayden taking on Jason Clark in what is a very interesting battle. Normally I would say that, you know, Jason Clark has looked really comfortable this season, but a few little moments of madness that we've seen from this morning, and Peter Hayden, the higher qualifier in that Laurel, looking really comfortable on this circuit. What can Clark do to try and bring himself into this one? Is he having problems with the car? Because he just can't seem to get that car on angle, and right now Hayden just keeps that car on momentum and starts to pull the gap. If he can keep this going, it will be Hayden with the big advantage going into the second half of this battle. But right now, Jason Clark looks to find the door and bring the fight just towards the end. Is it too little, too late for the Slide Motorsport driver as they cross the line? Three Sisters make some noise for Peter Hayden and Jason Clark.
Yeah, look at this from initiation. You can see Jason Clark fails to initiate really and tries to get into it. He doesn't. Has to clutch kick the car, but he's already way past clipping point 1. So Judge is going to be looking at that.
I'm wondering, could he be on a 0 there?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it could be. Well, listen, I'm getting some signals from the judges. I'm not giving anything away.
Getting some vibes.
Getting some vibes. Jason Clark did a very, very good job of getting proximity on the back end of Peter Hayden's Nissan Laurel towards the end of the run, but for me it was a little bit too much too late. Now, can Jason Clark force the error and try and put in a perfect lead run and let Peter Hayden make all the mistakes? But
well, the problem for him, Ian, is that he's in that lead position now, and very hard to force the error from that position. All he has to do really is worry about his qualifying line. That has to be perfect, but by doing that, it opens the door for Peter Hayden to have a very good chase run. And if Hayden can do that, get that proximity, no errors, and keep that car on angle, then it's a pretty much done deal. But look at this, a big gap separates them as they go into the first corner. Hayden maybe just holding back a little bit, knowing that all he has to do is make a clean pass of the circuit, a little bit of proximity towards the end, and he will be in the top 16. Nice job here from Jason Clark, keeping on that qualifying line, getting into those outer zones. No fight at all really from Peter Hayden, and running the risk of, you know, being considered for an inactive chase. But I'd imagine even with a big disadvantage going against him here, he will still move on with the big errors from Jason Clark on the first run.
So it does look like the judges have made a decision, and we are going to see it appear on your screen right now. Who's going to take it through to the top 16 to take on Martin Richards? And look at that, unanimous. Peter Hayden gets the win, ladies and gentlemen, and moves through. Jason Clark bows out of competition. We're just going to quickly jump to the judges on that one, even though we kind of know what it was. Judges.
Yeah, you suspected it earlier. I think Eddie was right for the first time in his career.
Thanks, Dave.
He actually drove the first corner, Jason Clark, and we were so borderline on it, but he actually drives from clip 1 to clip 2, and you can't do that at this level, and it is 0 on the first run. So even though Hayden had a very good lead too, so over the 2 runs Hayden getting the win, but the 10-0 was all from the first corner on the first run.
Well, there we go. Peter Hayden advances through to top 16, and we keep it going. Up next, Forcekellis to take on Ian Phillips, and Forcekellis listen, for me, it's been waiting for the time to shine all year.
Yeah, look, I mean, what's eluding him is that car just holding up, and he is certainly a podium contender at every round that he attends. Now, he's coming up against Ian Biz Phillips, who is not to be taken lightly, but Biz Phillips qualifying down the order a little bit, Forcekellis qualifying up in 10th, so certainly looking comfortable out on circuit. Big angle through the first corner for Forcekellis as he sends up the smoke screen already and doing his best to blind Ian Biz Phillips, who just completely obliterates that third clipping zone and it goes off circuit, Ian.
Yeah, huge error there for Ian Biz Phillips, and for me, personally,
Blinded.
I think he just got a little bit blinded, caught up with it.
Yeah, I mean, the smoke, we're not accustomed to seeing that much smoke that early on in the run. It's normally when they have this big pull down by the final section, but Forcekellis is just an absolute smoke creator.
We're going to go to a replay for that, just so we can see exactly what happened there for Ian Biz Phillips. Look at this nice initiation from Forcekellis, fires the car and gets on throttle nice and early and creates a huge amount of smoke. Nice and deep into that second clipping point, transitions onto the third. Look at that, Ian Phillips completely lost on the circuit. Panics, makes a dive and falls off circuit, does the Mike Walton. It's a Mike Walton effect. Sees the lead car driving away, it just dives straight off circuit. Forcekellis does what he does best and puts down an amazing lead run and finishes off the run in style as he absolutely smokes out Three Sisters Circuit in Wigan.
Yeah, he can just taste that spot in the top 16 now, and look, we've said it before, Ian, they only have to make one simple pass of the circuit, but that can prove more difficult than it sounds when you say it. And Forcekellis now jumps into the chase position. It shouldn't be a problem for Ian Phillips now. He'll have a clear track ahead of him, no visibility issues, as he will be clear of the smoke of Forcekellis, but Marshall's just checking that car over. Obviously going off track, just want to make sure that it is operating to the fullest degree.
For me now, Ian Phillips needs to just keep his cool. For me, Aramis Forcekellis all year has showed very good, outstanding driving. He comes to fault with car failures and silly mistakes in battles. If Ian Biz Phillips can lay down a very, very good lead run now, and Forcekellis makes the error behind, this could go the opposite way.
As you say, he's got to focus on his job, and that's just to get around the circuit in a perfect qualifying run. But look at this, Ian. Off circuit again. Forcekellis gets the overtake, and I'm not sure, is there something up with that car? Is Ian Phillips just not at the races today? But that, for me, is a pretty obvious 10-0 over the course of both runs, meaning Aramis Forcekellis will move on to the top 16, where we will have a E30 on E30 battle between him and Matt Walker.
Well, we'll make it official as the scores appear on the screen. We're going to assume they're going to slide right for Forcekellis, and it is correct here. Aramis Forcekellis gets the win, advances through to the top 16. No need to go to the judges. Twice off track in one day is not going to get you a place in top 16, and we move it along to the next battle, which is going to be a good one.
Yeah, look, I think this is going to be a really interesting one. Matt Denham taking on Mark Gemmell, and Denham just hasn't seemed to settle properly on the circuit this morning. A real opportunity for Mark Gemmell to get himself into a top 16 and take down one of the most promising drivers in the series as well. So here we go, thumbs up on the start line. Two of the nicest and friendliest drivers on the grid. They are ready for war. Will it be the Driftland TV driver? Will it be the Jap Speed Maxxis tyre driver who takes it into the top 16? Guess who awaits the winner? None other than Dwayne McKeever, the Northern Irish smoke machine. Higher qualifier Denham to lead them in. Here we go. Gemmell looks to jump onto the door, but washes a little bit and starts to lose some ground. Matt Denham puts foot to floor.
Oh, big fast transition for Matt Denham. Matt Denham fires it in. Gemmell lost a little bit now, needs to try and find himself back into this battle as Matt Denham stands on the accelerator.
Oh, big straightening from Gemmell as he gets it wrong coming out past clip 5 and 6.
And Gemmell just not having a good weekend at the moment, as you can see, taking the back end off of that car as these guys make their way back towards the start line. We're going to see a quick replay of this nice initiation there from Matt Denham. He gets that car settled very, very nicely. And for me, Gemmell just doesn't even get himself in the fight from the beginning. Nice fast transition. Does sacrifice clipping free there, Matt Denham. Not as deep as what we'd like to see. Gets himself nicely set up as well into Luna Bend. Gemmell starts to get himself back in the fight ever so slightly, but look, this is where it goes wrong. Backs out of it, has a massive straighten, and then again, watch this, off track as Matt Denham, sorry, takes it over the finish line.
Yeah, obviously just having to push so hard to try and keep with the pace of Denham and pushing wide and wider than he expected, and in order to stop himself going off track, backs out of it, Ian. So we are on the line, ready for the second half of this one. Malx gives the orders, sends them to the qualifying zone, and Gemmell chose on angle, but look at the dive onto the door by Matt Denham. He is all over the 350C of the Driftland TV driver.
Sacrifices clipping point 2 though, does Matt Denham now as he dives back on the door again, and Matt Denham back into it again. Matt Denham hungry for a win. Look at this aggression from Matt Denham as he starts to push the Driftland TV driver Mark Gemmell around the final turn.
And again, hits him again. Oh,
and he shuts it down.
And could that be the undoing of Matt Denham? Could that over-aggression, it was almost as if he had felt like he had a point to prove, Ian. And you know, with the errors on the first run, he didn't need to go that hard.
I'm going to say that it was a gearbox problem. I think Mark Gemmell's been suffering gearbox shift issues all weekend, and that's been the downfall of his driving. Watch this, serious aggression, sacrificing clipping 2 though, as Matt Denham gets on the door, has good proximity. This is a serious dive as he gets on the door through Luna Bend, starts to force the aggression. Here, Gemmell stays on that nice wide line for Phil's clipping point 6, but look at this, goes to shift up, no tyre smoke, the car is not in gear, and that's where the contact's made. I think that comes down to Mark Gemmell misshifting. I'm going to say that's his fault. But both guys out of the car and just having a chat with each other to assess the damage as we await the decision to drop in. Who's going to take it through to top 16? Will it be Gemmell? Will it be Denham? Slide him left for Gemmell, right for Matt Denham. Kieran says Denham. David says Denham, and there we go, it's unanimous. Matt Denham gets to win, advances through to the top 16. Mark Gemmell bows out of competition. We're not going to go to the judges. Straightening up before the finishing line is not going to get you a place in top 16, like we say, but we are going to go to someone who is our good friend, Nathan Black. Nathan, where you at, mate?
I'm down here, and the granny hunt was short, but it was good. I found her. I expected to kind of talk the big man on camera. She won't want to speak, and I would look great. Unfortunately, she's raring to go, so let's go and find out what she's got to say. Granny, how are you? Oh, yeah. Come on now. You might have retired, but we're still hot to trot. Now, listen. I'm from Sheffield, the mecca of manners, all right? And I was raised to expect my elders, but you called me out. What's going on? You're on my Instagram, you blow me up online. If you want some, it's right here. We'll get on there right now. We talk to Tango.
Yeah, I've got a question for you.
Right, okay.
How does somebody who knows nothing about drifting end up doing this?
Wow.
That woke the crowd up.
Wow. Nathan Black, have you got a response?
You've managed to make you managed to do what my parents never did in my entire life, which is make me speechless. I don't have a reply for you. I have nothing to say. I mean, we've come to personal attacks, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? And is that what it's come to? Listen, you might be good looking, you might be right to go, but that doesn't mean you're going to sit here and bully me. If you want to go, we'll get together. We'll get a couple of mobility scooters if you want, and we can razz around this course right now.
I can drift. Scooters.
You can drift. It is true. You told me you drive Evo. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, Evo 7.
We're talking real life, not PS4 here. Are you being serious?
It's for real, yeah.
Well, that's the challenge has been. So I accept your challenge, Granny. You get ready, and I'll take you down. We'll catch up with you later on. Unbelievable. See you later. Can you hear what she said?
You go, girl.
Listen, Nathan Black just got challenged of how he even got his job.
Did you hear him stumbling over his words?
He didn't know what to say. He was waiting for the ground to open up and swallow him. We're going to keep it going. We've got one more battle to go in our top 24, and it's a big one. It's going to be Paul Smith to take on Callum Marshall for a spot in top 16 to battle Josh King, the Pro-Am superstar. Paul Smokey Smith looking on form this weekend, but Callum Marshall...
Who's Callum Marshall?
Callum Marshall is, listen, a hero in my eyes.
Yeah, fresh off a podium at round 3 in Driftland, and he is here to take some scalps again this weekend. A spot in this top 16 awaits if he can take down Max's Tyre Jap Speed driver in the GT86, Paul Smokey Smith. They leave the line. Here we go. One spot up for grabs and a big dive onto the rear of that GT86 from Callum Marshall as he looks to form an attack on the veteran driver. Now starts to lose some ground as Paul Smith keeps his composure, but a big dive at the transition, but he backs out of it, drops a wheelie in.
Yeah, big dive from Marshall, but it's cost him. He's at to straighten now. He can't get back into the fight, and Smokey Smith keeps his cool and takes it over the line. Unbelievable aggression, though, from Callum Marshall straight from the start line.
So, Callum Marshall giving Paul Smith something to think about here as we go to the replay, take a quick look, and yeah, straight away, serious aggression here from Callum Marshall, jumps onto that door, but then Paul Smith starts to put the foot down. This is where he loses a little bit of ground. Callum Marshall needs to make a dive again, and just when he looked like he was out of it, jumps back in, but gets a little bit caught, and then it starts to fall apart for him at this point, and no problems for Paul Smith. A cool head on that shoulders, and a few car lines opened up as they crossed the line in.
Callum Marshall doing everything he needed to do in that first half of the battle, but I just think he forced himself into a few errors. We're going to get him back to the start line and turned around, and now Callum Marshall get the opportunity to lead out Paul Smokey Smith. Smokey Smith looking on form this weekend. Going to be looking to get himself a place on the podium again this year.
Yeah, look, I mean, he, especially with his championship position, would have been unhappy having to battle to get into the top 16. Would have liked to have got that job done in qualifying. You know, prospective battle against Josh King awaits a man who's qualified in from yesterday's competition. So he's got one former Pro-Am driver to contend with now, and he could have another Pro-Am driver to contend with should he make it into the top 16. But Callum Marshall needs to do a good job here in the lead position, try and put in a strong run just like Paul Smith did, and hope that Smith starts to make the similar errors in that chase position. Here we go, the final battle in the top 24. Marshall to lead in Smith, and Smith making the dive early.
Yeah, Smith making a nice dive, but he's got himself off track. He's got two wheels off track now. Smith finds himself out of the battle. He needs to work real hard to get this one back together as Callum Marshall stands on the accelerator. Smith fires it in to Luna Bend, but Callum Marshall keeping his cool, stands on the accelerator, looks for the outside zone, upshift to gear. Oh! Smokey Smith sends it off track. Paul Smokey Smith sends it off track, and Callum Marshall dominates both of the runs.
When we say it's not over till it's over, we mean exactly that. It is never a sure thing, even with a sizable advantage in the first run. And look at this, right from the off, Paul Smith just going overly aggressive, making contact, then dropping a couple of wheels, has to fight his way back into this one. Loses a lot of ground to Callum Marshall, who drops a wheel himself. They switch it back, and this is where it starts to go wrong again. Marshall gets back on the power. Smith just jumps forward, and then a straighten and a number of wheels off circuit, and he is left for dead. Marshall crosses the line, and Smith nowhere to be seen.
Well, as plain as that one looks, we need to make it official. Slide them left for Callum Marshall and right for Paul Smith, who's taking it through to the top 16 to battle Josh King. Kieran, David and Ryan make it unanimous. Callum Marshall gets the win and goes through to the top 16. And Callum Marshall takes the final spot in top 16 and rounds out our top 24. Eddie, what some upsets. I couldn't even get my words to come out.
Yeah, look, I mean, we said we weren't sure which way it was going to go. We're still speechless. We're still confused. Look, a lot of drivers throwing it away, though, you know, and that's the big thing here. That's been the story of this weekend, is drivers in the chase position throwing it away, you know, being overly aggressive too early in the run. There's a lot of good places to formulate your attack here, and just on that first corner isn't one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Look, a lot of guys were missed time in the attack, like you say, and clipping point 2 definitely isn't one of them. Straight line and trying to make the dive into 3. You know, listen, for me, it's get yourself into clipping point 4, get the car set up nicely, get yourself balanced, get on throttle, then make the dive, then make the attack. There's too much other points in the circuit where things can go wrong, and we've seen that time after time. And listen, that's given us a very, very interesting top 16. We are going to be live back in about 15 minutes time, so don't go too far away.
Just put the kettle on.
Just go flick the kettle on,
Make
get yourself some hobnobs and some digestive
and a crisp
biscuits.
sandwich.
Me and Eddie will be back live on your screen in 15 minutes time with top 16. Do not go anywhere.
Presenting the Link MXS Strada Dashes powered by AIM Technologies. 2 devices that work in harmony with your existing Link ECU. Available in the standard or street version, the Strada can show a wide range of data like speed, water temperature, oil pressure and much more, thanks to its ability to read up to 4 analog inputs and 1 digital input. Our dashes come pre-configured, allowing you to get set up quickly and easily. For more information on these and all of our other products, contact your local dealer or visit linkecu.com.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now.
I've been using VP racing fuel for years, basically ever since I built my first race car, and you want to get that consistent fuel, it was VP through and through.
Absolutely,
right from the
that's the brand. Yeah, I've been using VP probably since I was 10 years old racing dirt bikes. There's so many different VP racing fuels to choose from. One of the best go-tos is definitely C16.
So we use C16 in our Formula Drift cars.
I run C16 in all my cars outside of this one here. The 2 race cars here at the track, we run the C85.
And my supercharged Coyote-powered Mustang that's over in Europe, we use MS109.
And a Ferrari car, I actually run MS109.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
There's a reason that half the paddock, if not more here, runs Samco hose, and that's that nobody wants to be let down by a split water hose or a split boost hose. And with Samco, there's nothing to worry about.
With using these hoses, we get the reliability, they never burst, we can just rely on them, and that's all we need.
Half of the grid are running Samco hoses in their cars, and there's a reason for that. They're the best in the business.
I'm so happy to be running Samco hoses now, because in the past we have run other manufacturers' hoses and we have had the intercooler pipes collapsing, which obviously when you're under massive pressure on track, you have to be fully supportive and reliant on your hoses.
So a lot of people ask us over the years, you know, what hoses you run. Personally, I can't think of anything better than Samco. They do what they say on the tin, they work, they don't come loose, they don't fail on you, they don't pop. You can't beat Samco.
With over 25 years experience, Link Engine Management are global leaders in motorsport engine technology. Developed and manufactured in New Zealand, Link has been supplying ECUs, sensors and dashes to drivers around the world. We have a range of products to help you get the most out of your engine, and all of our ECUs come with a limited lifetime warranty. So if you want to upgrade, find your nearest dealer and get more info on our products, visit linkecu.com.